Yo, what's good, y'all? We back in here again. We gonna be talking about more basketball. You know that's what we do. But we're gonna be talking about one of the more underrated teams in the NBA, which is kind of surprising that this team is underrated by media, fans, because when you go back to last offseason and you saw the moves they made, a lot of people, including myself, thought this team is for real. And that team is the Miami Heat, who in the offseason signed guys like Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker. And we were like, this team is going to be solid. They're going to be a hard-nosed defensive team, and they're going to put up points. Here we are. Fast forward mid-January. Miami Heat are 28-16 and one of the top two teams in the Eastern Conference. Technically tied for first, but they've played one more game than Chicago and got one more loss as well. They got one more loss and one more win. So I guess they're tied, for first, but still one of the top two teams in the conference and one of the best teams in the whole league. So this team right now they're rolling. They're one of the best teams in the NBA, and it's because of their top tier defense being the main reason. They're ranked 4th in opponent points per game, and they're 9th in defensive rating. And when you look at this team, they're so good on defense because this is a Pat Riley constructed type of team. This is a team Pat Riley will have like in the 90s or something. Like, it's got those type of guys. They're tough, they're gritty. They got players like Lowry, Butler, Adebayo, Tucker, all being good to elite defenders in their position. Now, when you look at the offensive side of the ball, the Miami Heat are an above league average team. Last season, they weren't that good offensively, but this season, they've definitely stepped it up. They're top 3 in offensive rating, 15th in points per game. And also, big reason of that is the addition of Kyle Lowry. Leadership at the point, along with the versatility of Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, who can both have the offense run through them as well. Adebayo with his skill set at the center spot, and Jimmy Butler being able to be a point forward when they need him to. We saw he got a triple-double last game against Toronto, so we saw what they can do when they run the offense through him. But this team's got scores all over the roster, all over the floor. 5 guys on this team average double digits, and big reason why they're so good is because of the play of Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is a 6th Man of the Year candidate this season. Something I didn't really think I would see. I didn't think that was going to happen. He's averaging 20.7 points per game, but not only that, I think the biggest thing for him is the fact that he can play the point when needed because he's an improved playmaker. If you compare him from now to his rookie season, way better player. Rookie season, he was a scorer and a scorer only. This year, still that scorer, but, he knows how to dish. He knows how to find guys now and make reads. Something that he couldn't do even last season. And I just don't understand why this team doesn't get enough recognition, especially with the fact that they've dealt with injuries and health and safety protocols a lot this season. And when I say injuries, I mean injuries to key guys like Jimmy Butler, who's been dealing with ankle injuries. Kyle Lowry was out for a little bit of time. Adebayo just got back after I don't know how many weeks of being out. So they've dealing with injuries, and they still got a guy who's been out all season who can be a key piece down the road, and that's Victor Oladipo, who I feel like people are going to say he's washed. But, this guy was an all-star at one point. And he still is good enough to give you solid numbers, especially off the bench for this team. He's still a two-way player. So they're still missing a key guy, and this team has still managed to be top 3 in the East all season long and end up being one of the best teams in the league all season long. Now, when you look at the key stats for Miami, they're a really good three-point shooting team. They're 2nd in the whole league in three-point percentage behind Chicago. And, when you just look at this roster, the Heat are one of those teams that they're built for playoff time. They got reliable veterans that have been there, and their young guys have been there as well. They're experienced. They were a part of that finals team in the bubble in 2020, so they know how it feels to be on the big stage. They also have something to prove. Last season, getting swept by the Bucks, it was a murder. That series was, I don't even know what it was. They were blasting them. The Bucks were killing them, but they got embarrassed. Jimmy Butler played horrible. And, after having that great bubble run in 2020, they got something to prove now, especially with that whole series last year. I think this team is built to compete with anyone in the 7-game series. You look at this roster. They can compete with Golden State. They can compete with Phoenix. They can compete with Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Chicago. It doesn't matter. I think they can do it because they play both sides of the ball and they're a great defensive team. You know, if injuries don't plague this team in the playoffs, they can potentially make a really deep run. And I'm talking about a finals run. This team can win it all. The Miami Heat, make no mistake about it, can win it all this season. They're the most low-key contender in the Eastern Conference or in the league that I've seen like in a while. Like when you look at the teams from other seasons that had great years, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when people were talking about them. But the Miami Heat, I feel like I haven't seen nobody talk about them. And every time you look at the standings, they're right there. You know, I've heard a lot about Chicago, obviously, but nobody expected them to be there, so I understand. You got Brooklyn, obviously in the top 3. You got Milwaukee, who's actually below Miami. And we just look, and you're like, every time you look at the standings, the Miami Heat are right there. They're top 3 every time. And it's like, why doesn't nobody talk about this team? So I just had to make the video because I was like, this team needs recognition. This team is good. And they have a potential to go all the way. But nobody's picking them to go all the way. We might mess around and see a Miami Phoenix finals. Who knows? A Miami Golden State finals. Who knows with this team? I expect them to make a deep push in the Eastern Conference. If they can make... I don't even think they need to make a couple moves. I was going to say that they should make a couple moves, but I don't even think so. I think this team is fine the way it is if they keep rolling this way. And who knows? Maybe in June, July, they'll be in their second finals appearance in 3 years. Because right now, this Pat Riley team, Eric Spoelstra is coach, but this is a Pat Riley team. Make no mistake about it. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Link will be down in the description below. This has been a checkup where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.